About 70 years ago, this incident is believed to have taken place during the British era. The story revolves around an ancient banyan tree. The tree stood in a lonely, isolated place on one side of a road. People used to talk a lot about it. Many claimed that they had seen an old woman wearing a white sari sitting on one of its branches, her legs dangling. She would sit there with her head slightly covered, and her face was never clearly visible. Some even said she made a strange groaning sound. Though many people reported seeing her, these sightings were from many years ago. Just past the banyan tree there was a graveyard. After evening, the entire area would become extremely quiet and eerie. Many people had felt a deep sense of fear while passing through that place. Now, my friend's grandfather's father was named Sohorab Mia. At that time, they were a very poor family. There were 3 brothers and 1 sister in the family. The sister was already married and lived in another village called Mondulper. Sohorab Mia was a farmer by profession. He owned a small piece of land where he cultivated crops. He also raised cows and goats. He had a bullock cart, but he did not use it to carry passengers. It was mainly for his personal use. He used the cows to plow his fields and sometimes to transport crops from one place to another. One day, he decided to visit his daughter's house, as it had been a long time since he last saw her. In those days, there were no mobile phones to inform in advance. However, he had sent word through someone that he might visit in a few days, though he could not confirm the exact date later. On that particular day, he finished his daily work just before evening and set out for his daughter's house. Since it was getting dark, he lit a kerosene lantern and hung it under his bullock cart. As the cart moved slowly, he passed through a local market called Baktapur, where he bought sweets like jalopy and other items that his daughter liked. Since he was visiting his daughter's in-laws' house, he felt it was necessary to bring something within his means. It took him nearly 2 hours to reach the village, as the roads back then were muddy and winding. By the time he arrived, the Isha prayer call had already begun. After reaching, he had dinner and spent some time talking with his daughter and other family members. As the night grew deeper, everyone in the house insisted that he stay the night. However, he refused. He believed the distance was not too far, only about 2 to 2.5 hours by bullock cart, and even less if he walked. So he decided to return home that very night. Again in the morning, he had responsibilities to take care of his cows and goats. So even if he wanted, he could not stay. Then what did his daughter do? The food that had been cooked was put into a clay pot, because at that time things like tiffin carriers were not really available in villages. She packed the food in a clay pot and also gave some fried pitha for home, for his mother. Then he left from there and started his journey. As he was going, there was no problem on the way. He had already covered quite a long distance. And when he was driving the cows, meaning he was pushing them forward from behind with a stick, making hoi-hoi sounds like cart drivers usually do, those sounds could be heard from far away. He kept going. There were not many people on the road. When he reached Baktapur market again, he saw that most of the shops were closed. It was not unusual, especially for a village market at that time. However, he knew one shop where the shopkeeper used to sleep inside. So he went there and knocked. The man woke up from inside the shop and recognized Sohorab Mia. He asked, "Brother, where are you coming from at this late night? What do you need?" Then he asked for some bidi. In Rangpur, tobacco production was high from long ago. At that time, common cigarettes or ready-made bidis were not easily available. They used to make bidi in a special way by rolling tobacco leaves and wrapping them with something like paper. So he took some bidi and also bought matches that were available at that time. Then he started again towards his home. The incident actually began when he came near that banyan tree. In the dim light of his lantern, he saw an old woman standing on one side of the road, signaling with her hand from a distance, as if asking him to stop the cart. The cart was moving slowly forward. Sohorab Mia was thinking in his mind, what is this old woman doing here at such a late night? He could not clearly understand whether it was a human or some evil jinn. Before he could get closer, his 2 cows started mooing abnormally and stopped. The old woman was still standing there. Her face was not visible. She had a veil over her head and was wearing a white sari. Sohorab Mia thought to himself, people in the village often talk about seeing an old woman in white clothes near this banyan tree. Could this be that same thing? He was in doubt. He was thinking, I am carrying food at night and this thing has appeared here. Surely there is some problem. While thinking this, suddenly the old woman, in a slightly trembling voice, called Sohorab Mia by name and said, Sohorab Baba, will you take me in your cart a little? She was speaking in the Rangpur regional dialect, but we are saying it in standard language for understanding. So she said, Sohorab Baba, will you take me? Then Sohorab Mia gathered courage and said, Tell me, who are you actually? And why are you standing here at such a late night? Then the thing replied, Son, I went to visit my daughter's house. I am coming back on the road, but now I am not getting any cart. I cannot see properly at night. I don't know which way to go. Please take me a little. Sohorab Mia thought, these evil spirits or petnis are said to have their feet turned backwards. Let me see what your feet look like. Thinking this, he calmly looked at the woman's feet. He saw that her feet were not backward. They were straight like a human's, but the feet were very flat. The feet were very black, and the nails were quite large. Then he understood that these were not human feet. Even though they were not backward, the flattened shape, almost like a duck's feet, made it clear this is not human. Surely this is that Petni people talk about. Thinking what to do without saying anything more, he lit a matchstick and lit a biddy. He knew that such things do not like fire or iron. As soon as he lit the biddy, when the matchstick flared up, the fire became bright for a moment and then dimmed. When it flared, the light spread a little distance and then reduced again. He noticed that whenever the fire flared, the woman moved back to the edge of the light, and when it dimmed, she came closer again. It was like she was going back and coming forward repeatedly. Then the woman said, "Oh Sohorab, why did you light fire? I am afraid of fire. Throw it away." At that moment, Sohorab Mia thought, yes, I have done the right thing. Now I cannot throw away the fire. Otherwise, this thing might cause serious harm. He also noticed another thing. The woman suddenly disappeared in the blink of an eye, as if she had merged with the air. After that, his two cows, which were not moving forward, started moving again. The slight fear he had in his mind also went away. He thought that the danger had passed. But who knew that an even more terrible danger was waiting ahead? After going a little further, again his two cows refused to move forward. He was making hoi-hoi sounds to push them ahead, but the cows did not move. Then he thought, let me get down from the cart and see what the matter is, why they are not moving, whether there is any other problem or if the wheel is stuck. He then thought of increasing the light of his lantern. He took the lantern down from under the cart and turned up the flame, trying to see if there was anything around. As soon as he held the lantern forward, he saw a terrifying sight. He saw a completely pitch-black woman. Her height was around 9 or 10 feet. Her hair was messy, and it seemed like the hair was moving like snakes. Her tongue was hanging out, and from her eyes it seemed like red rays of light were coming out. Seeing this, Sohorab Mia became extremely frightened, because he had only heard from people that a white-clothed old woman was seen there with her face covered. That thing had come before him earlier, and he was not that scared. But what he was seeing now, he had never heard such a story before. He became terribly afraid. His whole body was trembling, and his head felt dizzy. Then the thing said in a very harsh voice, "Sohorab Mia, do you think you are very clever? Do you think you will escape from me? Now you will understand." Saying this, the woman stretched her hand forward. Sohorab Mia saw that the hand seemed to be getting longer and coming towards him. Then he turned around and started running. He thought that if he runs, maybe he will survive this time. But after going a little, he felt something like iron claws suddenly grab his shoulder tightly. It was pressing so hard that it felt like each nail was very sharp and polished. It seemed like the nails were going into his shoulder, the nails of that Petni. Then he felt a hard slap on his neck. After that, he fell to the ground. At first he fell face down. Then he turned over on his back to see what comes next. Then he saw that the thing jumped and sat on his chest. It felt like a mountain had been placed on his chest. After that, he had no sense left. He lost consciousness. The next morning, the villagers found him lying in a crop field. They also saw a horrifying scene. After seeing that, they started looking for the cart driver. People saw that the 2 cows from the cart had been brutally killed. It looked like their chests were torn open and their livers had been completely eaten. No other parts of the body were damaged. They thought that this was not the work of any normal human. It was not even the work of a wild animal because there were no such animals there. Surely this could be the work of that Petni from the banyan tree. At that time, Sohorab Mia had already come some distance ahead from the banyan tree. Then people started searching for the cart driver. After searching, they found him lying in a field. They recognized him. This is Sohorab Mia. They took him home. After 1 day, he regained consciousness. After regaining consciousness, he told everything that had happened. Hearing about the tragic fate of his 2 cows, which he used for plowing, he felt very hurt. For about 7 to 8 hours he was normal. After that, some abnormal behavior was noticed in him. Seeing such behavior, his family took him to a cabbage, traditional healer. The cabbage gave him blessed water, amulets, and treated him in his own ways. But the problem was not solved. Sohorab Mia would sit in one corner of the house, murmuring to himself. Sometimes he would suddenly shout, "It will take me away! That black woman will take me away. No one can save me. It is coming. It is coming." Another thing would happen. If any unfamiliar person came to the house, he would take a kitchen knife and chase them. Sometimes he would eat food meant for 4 or 5 people all by himself. With all these problems going on, one day a known person from the village suggested a pious user. The user lived in a place called Kamarganj in Mithapukar Upjala. So they took him there. When they took him there, Sohorab Mia was normal at that time. After reaching, the user listened to everything from him. Then the user started ruqya. What did the user do? He took a piece of paper and wrote something in Arabic on it. Then he soaked the paper in a glass of water and stirred it with a stick for some time. When the writing completely dissolved in the water, he said, "Sohorab Mia, you drink this." So, as soon as Sohorab Mia said Bismillah and drank that water, another problem started immediately. Felt like there was another existence inside Sohorab Mia, and it began to struggle. Sohorab Mia completely lost control over his body. Many times we see in movies that some entity inside the body twists and controls it. Something like that started happening. Sohorab Mia began moving his hands and legs violently, twisting his body. It was clear that as soon as he drank the water, the entity inside him started feeling pain and became restless. It was obvious that Sohorab Mia himself was not doing this. Because of this struggle, his body was also in pain. He was screaming and shouting. The user reassured everyone, saying, "Do not worry, wait a little. Inshallah, everything will be fine soon." Within a few minutes, it became normal. No one tried to hold Sohorab Mia, as the user had already told them not to. After a few minutes, Sohorab Mia became calm. Then the user drew a circle using something red in color, possibly sindoor or something similar. Sohorab Mia was made to sit inside that circle. Then the user recited prayers and blew over him. After some time, it felt like a gentle wind entered the place. The air moved around and touched everyone. Then it seemed that the wind came and touched Sohorab Mia's body. Suddenly his body jerked. When Sohorab Mia opened his eyes, it seemed his eyes had become very large, and it looked like all the blood in his body had gathered in his eyes. The user understood what was happening. He said, "I understand you have appeared. Do you know why I made him drink that water? I have already weakened you. Now tell me, why have you possessed him?" Then the entity replied, "I like him, so I took him." The user said, "All Petnis say the same thing, that they like the person and won't leave. But after punishment, they all run away. I don't want to hear all this. Tell me your identity properly." The entity refused at first, saying, "No, I won't tell. Am I forced to tell you?" Then the user became annoyed and recited some prayers and blew over him. Immediately the entity started struggling again and said, "Stop, user! Stop! I am in great pain. I will tell everything." Then it said, "My name is Kanaiya Petni. I live in that banyan tree. Many people also know me as Kanaiya Petni. I live alone. I have no family or descendants. I have been living there for many years. It is true that I scare people. but I have never caused major harm. The user said, "All right, I accept that. Then why did you kill this poor man's 2 cows?" The Petni replied, "Yes, I took the form of an old woman, but I did not go there to scare him. He suddenly came in front of me, and I could not change my form at that moment because he had light. I did not intentionally show myself. According to certain rules, I asked for help. If he had helped me, I would not have harmed him. But he understood something and lit fire to scare me. User, we jin avoid fire and iron. These create different reactions in our bodies. That is why I became angry, and since the far Azan had already begun, I could not kill him. But I killed his 2 cows and left." The user said, "What a story. You wanted to get on his cart, and you say you wouldn't harm him? These stories are useless to me. You could have just left. Why did you want to get on his cart? You were greedy for his food, weren't you? Aren't you ashamed to say this? Now listen carefully. You have committed a serious crime. Tell me what your punishment should be. I will not let you go so easily." Then the Petni said, "You have to give me something, then I will leave him." The user replied, "Impossible. I will not give you anything. Instead, you will pay for the 2 cows you killed. You will compensate him. Tell me how and when you will give it." The Petni said, "How can I give that?" The user said, "I don't know. You killed a poor man's cows without reason. Now you are telling lies. Will you accept your fault and pay? Or shall I imprison you?" Then the Petni started resisting. The user said, "Enough. I will not talk anymore." He had already prepared a glass bottle. He took that bottle and held it near Sohorab Mia's nose for about 5 to 10 seconds while reciting prayers softly. Then as soon as he sealed the bottle, Sohorab Mia lost consciousness inside the circle. After 5 to 7 minutes, by the mercy of Allah, Sohorab Mia regained consciousness. He became completely normal. After that, the user buried the bottle deep in the ground at a certain place. From that time on, no one ever saw that white-clothed woman, known as Kanaiya Petni or Kanaiya Petni, near that banyan tree again. Although people say that in the distant past such sightings used to happen, from that day onward, the story came to an end like this, leaving behind fear, mystery, and a chilling memory that still lingers in people's minds.